The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to DRL TV. My name is Ryan Branch. I'm joined by Martin Wenzel tonight, and we're coming to you from Martinsville Speedway for the Martinsville 250, the Dynasty Racing League's Cup Series playoffs. This is the very first race of the final round of the Cup Series playoffs. After the following 3 races, we will go to Homestead and crown a champion. Martin, how are we doing tonight?
Pretty good. Tired. Lots of decorating for Halloween.
You gotta love that. Took the kids
Yep.
trick-or-treating earlier, so.
That's
Well,
a day early, isn't it?
It
Oh,
is
no.
a day early. Yeah, they
I
do
am a
them.
bit.
Different towns do them on different days, I think, so people can make it to other. I don't know. I don't know why they do it the way they do it, but different towns do it on a different night. So, looks like how many people we got tuned in or in the race tonight? Is it 13 we have in the field?
Let me see. 5, 10, 15. Probably 15 or 16, it looks like.
We are going to start qualifying here. John Theodore is already out on the track in the number 89.
Yeah, Chad Presnell got in just at the last second there.
Yeah, so
worried he was
no
gonna
real
miss this race.
practice for him. We did have, I believe, Caden Honeycutt with the fastest time in practice. So as far as implications for these playoffs, Honeycutt is not actually running in the playoffs. So if he were to win tonight, nobody's guaranteed to move on from here. But as I pull up the point standings, you can kind of see Anthony Burrows is almost a shoe-in, as well as Wade Hustad, so long as those guys show up and race. They do have quite the points lead with the wins they were able to rack up throughout the season and the last 2 rounds of playoffs. So right now it's kind of a
they can afford one bad race probably, and
yeah. For now, it's really just a 5-driver shootout at the moment. Or 6, what is it?
Yeah,
6 drivers, yeah. Okay. Chad Presnall down through Dustin Musial there. All those guys competing for a spot at Homestead. John Theodore, first one to complete a lap. He is on the pole currently. The 19 point, what is that? 363. And just overtaken by Thomas Harmon in the number 68. So Harmon coming out and posting a 19.322.
Yeah, we were kind of saying Anthony Burrows and Wade Hustad can afford one bad race. And last week we were looking at Burrows thinking he was having a not the greatest race and ends up completing another top 5 to keep that perfect streak going this season.
Yeah, a series of top 5s from him throughout the season. He's yet to not finish a race in the top 5, so crazy out of him so far. Thomas Harmon is still sitting on the pole with some other drivers get on the track and try to post a lap. Caden Honeycutt. I don't know if Honeycutt's actually out there running at the moment.
Yeah, John Theodore, right now currently in second qualifying. He's looking for that first win of the season, and this would be a great time to get one. Mike Springer also now, and now he's going to be 5th. Caden Honeycutt drops down a 1:19.
Wow, so Honeycutt
last field right there.
Over 2/10 faster than Thomas Harmon currently. Sits in second, so. Oh, and there's Wade Hustad. He's about a 10th off. Anthony Burrows just behind him, posts his time. See what kind of lap Mr. Presnall can put down here as he pulls out onto the track. Did join the practice session very late. Hopefully he got some practice here at Martinsville throughout the week, but unable to practice with the track conditions as they currently are. Well, this should be a good one. We got 250 laps. It's a half-mile track. The cars don't get up to very high speeds, but there can be a lot of bumping, grinding in the corners, kind of pushing people up out of your way, and the car getting real loose on the way out of the corner because you're essentially downshifting and nailing it on your way out. So.
Oh yeah, a lot of congestion when you get into those corners, and yeah, this track. Richmond it brings mind Richmond a little bit, where you need to hit the brakes. You need to slow down going into the corner, but you're always afraid. It's like, okay, is that guy behind me going to slow down where I'm slowing down, or he's going to send me straight into the wall? And especially because it's such a small track, there's a lot of cars around too. It's not just you're going to get hit and go into the wall. You're probably going to get hit and go into 5 different guys.
Well, Presnall did post a 19.444. He's going to start 8th, but he is spinning a few extra laps out on the track there, so just trying to get used to the current conditions of the track. So it looks like Caden Honeycutt is our clear pole sitter tonight. Go grab him and get a quick interview, see how he's feeling about the race. If he's around. I don't see Honeycutt, do you? Oh, there he is. Caden Honeycutt, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, looks like you got the pole position tonight. You were the fastest car in practice. Feeling pretty good about Martinsville?
I am. I really enjoyed this racetrack, man. This is my favorite one. I don't really know how the racing's going to be when we get single file. I expect for people to run their stuff off, some people to say, but I feel like if you run as hard enough as you can and still keep up a very, very good pace, they can't catch you. When the guys that did safe tires, they won't have much time. That makes sense. And for the line changes, I don't really know what line's I really don't think the top's gonna come in, to be honest with you. If it does, it's gonna be the last 50 laps. When tires get old, we won't have a right rear anymore. And so I just think we'll have to see how this goes for a little bit. Obviously, since there's only 16 of us, I feel like this is going to go green for a long way. If not, we'll be green sooner or later. So I'm just really looking forward to this race. Unfortunately, I didn't get to Kansas, which I felt like I had a shot at there. And congrats to my teammate Hunter for doing a great job. We're going to see how this race goes. I'm going to do my best, and good luck to all these guys. And thank you guys for doing the broadcast, and I appreciate y'all, the guys that are watching. Appreciate you guys for doing this, and we'll do the best we can, and hopefully we have a good 250 laps here.
All right, Caden, go out there and get him, man. Wish you the best of luck.
Yes, sir. Thanks, guys.
Inside row. Your road is closed.
Also, we talked to our poll, and now I'm looking at the bottom four, 13, 14, 15, and 16th on our grid. And it's Chris James, David Wright, Joshua Wakefield, and David Wellborn. Those are the four guys that were cut last week after Kansas, and they're starting in the last four spots today. So kind of an interesting little quirk there.
Yeah, even if they'd have made it into this round, maybe Martinsville wouldn't have done so well for them. So it's definitely a tough track to drive. I didn't even compete last week, or I didn't plan to in the trucks this week, just because Martinsville's not a fun track for me to drive. I don't like driving here. It's a very difficult track, and you feel like as soon as you're fully in the gas, you got to get back on the brake, and I just can never plan these corners correctly. There's a big, I don't know, the apex is strange on tracks like this in New Hampshire.
It was fun racing. It was fun racing it, but it was it's one of those tracks where it's like I just can't figure it out and can't really compete. And then it was just a disaster otherwise, because it seemed every time there was a wreck, I would get caught in it.
There's
so
not a lot of
just disaster.
Not a lot of places to go when when a wreck happens in front of you. I mean, you have both of those walls on the inside and outside of the car, and if you do get in an accident, there's almost no way to keep the car out of the wall. So,
and Texas, Texas, where we'll be racing next week, and we're right now in the official races for iRacing during the week. Hasn't been treating me too well either. So, I don't know. Martinsville and Texas kind of putting a sour note so far.
Well, Texas definitely a much different track than this one.
Yeah,
that's a very, very quick track.
People seem to not be able to drive it this week, so.
And Caden Honeycutt's going to lead us around the corner to the green flag. Nice quick jump by him there.
Oh, he is running the Corey Bush scheme, right?
I see a different one.
Oh, okay, well. Yeah, I had a different one earlier. I had a Charmin one or something.
Yeah, I got Kleenex on there.
So it changed, and then it changed back when I updated. Weird.
So yeah, Caden Honeycutt out there running in first. Eli Hinton is running second in that number 23 car now, so.
Yeah, nice Gatorade Propel car today.
Yep.
Him and all three of those guys, Honeycutt, Alec Martinez also running the Skittles car. Kyle Busch's Skittles car. People changing it up. But yeah, Eli Hinton quickly gets out to second place.
I just realized we didn't even run through the starting grid there to show you who was starting where, but the rear of the field still back there is Chris James, David Wright, David Wellborn, and Joshua Wakefield. And 13th
right there,
16th.
Wade Hustad gave a good bump, got a bumper into Eli Hinton, sent Hinton up the track, and Hustad's going to move past for second. A little bit of damage on the rear of the 23 and on the front end of the 32.
It looks like everybody preferring that low line currently. cars that are forced into the high line seem to be easily passable, but you do see the 68 there of Thomas Harmon able to make the outside work pretty well.
Yeah, Hunter Johnson working past him. Hunter Johnson already gaining 2 positions up from 7th. He started 7th. Burrows dropping back from 4th to 6th.
When we saw that last week from Hunter Johnson as well, made a quick move through the field, started towards the rear, and made up a lot of positions very early, and was able to hold on to it. So Anthony Burrows, he's in a new paint scheme as well, correct?
Yeah, that's the first time I've just seen it. I just went into blimp mode and I just saw him. I'm like, oh, that's new.
I'm not sure what Reese is, what product that is, but
yeah, but I think that would still be I think he basically runs Keselowski's paints, right? I think that's what he runs.
I don't know. Do you see the drivers with the red down around the bottom of the cars? Those are your playoff drivers right now, so.
Yeah, and I think, let me check on. Yeah, David Wellborn still has the red on his. Didn't switch out his paint, but everyone else is set.
And we got Chad Bresnell on the 55, who got that 8th place start. He's up to 7th now. John Theodore, I don't remember what position he ended up getting bumped to when qualifying, but
Theodore started 6th, so he's dropped back 2 spots as well. Yeah, a few guys. Burrows, Harmon, they've fallen back while Hunter Johnson's gone from 7th to 4th. Your top 3 are back in the order they started in. Honeycutt, Husted, Hinton.
Got Mike Springer in the number 12. He started in 10th. He's up 1 spot to the 9th position.
Yeah, swapping with Alec Martinez in that 76. Unfortunately,
it looks like he didn't get his number set, so he's running kind of a goofy number tonight, but Dustin Musial in the
92. Yep.
Classic Bud Light cars. He's running in 11th, up 1 position from his starting position. So
yeah, still hanging in the playoff chase.
Our first driver down pit road as Joshua Wakefield comes down.
Yeah, not sure what happened. I'm going to go back and see if there's any reason why he's doing that.
So rough night for Wakefield.
Looks like he might be having connection issues. That might be what it is. We'll see.
Caden Honeycutt is absolutely running away with this race currently, over almost 3 seconds ahead of Wade Hustad as we speak. So looks like he's going to be the class of the field tonight, Martin. Not going to be easy to beat. He's got Wade Hustad about 3 seconds back, and then Eli Hinton in the 23 about 3.5 seconds back. So a little bit of a gap once Wade Hustad was able to get around him, but nothing like the gap that Caden Honeycutt's put on the rest of the field right now.
Yeah, we had a conversation this week also. Honeycutt, I think he's invited a couple of his friends, and there's some pretty good drivers too. So this next season in Cup Series is going to be a lot of competition.
Oh, I can't wait. I know Honeycutt races in real life. I think he races in the ARCA series. So
yeah, I mean, we got a few guys that they actually get out there on the real surfaces. And yeah, he's up there, and yeah, I think ARCA. I know we have Garrett Maines is going to be doing the Pro Series and probably getting in the winter again, and he's a young guy who's on that NASCAR path as well. 3.5 seconds or 3.25 seconds right now. Honeycutt to Hustad.
Yeah, I don't even think I'm going to look at Honeycutt for the rest of the night. He's the leader. He's out there. That's about all there is to it. Do have Anthony Burrows now moved back up into the 5th spot, so he's running just behind Hunter Johnson in that 98 car. Looks to be closing the gap. So he did drop a couple positions, but he is back up to 5th now. I don't know. That's the cutoff point, Martin. He can't get worse than a 5th.
Yep. Well, and as we said at the beginning of the broadcast, anyone in the playoff race who wins this race is locked into Homestead. Burrows and Hustad basically locked in with their points lead at this point, barring any disasters for both those drivers.
Yeah, they would have to flat out not show up for a race, I think, and then do badly in a second one to not get in. So.
Yeah, so they can afford a mistake, but You know, otherwise they're pretty comfortable. They just have to keep the car underneath them. And the way Hustad and Burrows run, that's not the hardest thing for them to do.
I mean,
So
if something
Hunter
were to
Johnson,
go wrong, I'd expect it at, you know, a track like this, to be honest with you,
Yep.
where everything is so tight. And I know as we get down towards the end of this race, there's going to be a lot of battling and bumping and jousting for position. So somewhere like Texas next week, I mean, the only way I see those guys getting in any real damage there is just getting caught in another wreck that happens around them, because that is one of the fastest tracks in NASCAR. Definitely a lot different track than what Martinsville is here tonight. So.
well, that's what got Wade Hustad, I think, last round. Is he got, you know, he had that, he either the first round or second round. You can just see, I'm watching Burrows coming out of those corners. He's really wiggling.
Yeah, getting on the gas pretty hard, making the back end of that car snap a little loose, but that's how you have to drive it here
Yeah.
in order to get that speed down the straightaway. See him, he's coasting up just a little bit higher than the other two cars around him in the middle of that apex, so he's getting back into the gas a little earlier than them and really
Yeah, now
nailing it
he's-
on his way out of the corner. So doesn't look like much, but he is moving up just a little bit higher than the other guys through the corner.
David Wellborn now goes down a lap.
Did Honeycutt get around him?
Yep.
Wellborn in the 96, already conceding a lap to our leader. Honeycutt, 4.5
Yeah.
seconds ahead of Wade Hustad in the 32. So
Yeah, Joshua Wakefield's sitting in pit road. Looks like he might be done. I don't know if he just doesn't feel comfortable. Maybe there's connection issues. That's what it looked like a little bit of. So that might be what he's just sitting there, and he's going to collect the bonus points maybe.
yeah, he's been down in pit road for almost 5 minutes. Excuse me, almost 5
Getting a
minutes
little
now.
tired.
Yeah. Had to do a lot of walking, you know, out there trick-or-treating, and then, of course, the 3-year-old gets tired of walking, so you got to carry him all the way back to the car. Gotta love it.
As the field starts making its way around David Wellborn.
Yeah, Wellborn being patient, just letting those guys around on the outside, not trying to hold the position.
Not a lot of movement in the back there now. Hunter Johnson kind of locked in at 4th. Everyone else, Burrows, Harmon, Theodore, down 1 spot from where they started because Hunter Johnson got past them.
And we do have a little train here, though. John Theodore, Chad Bresnall, and Mike Springer all right on top of one another, so those guys keeping it very close. It's like
Yeah,
Theodore
little bit
taking
closer
a
back
higher
there.
line than the other two. In that Corey Bush 89.
Yeah, it looks like I think that's probably gonna be the place to watch right now. Is gonna be Theodore and Presnall, right on top of each other going into these turns.
Well, again, I mean, you look at the point standings. Bresnall 30 points back of Anthony Burrows, and then you've got Hunter Johnson also 30 points back. Thomas Harmon 33, and Mike Springer and John Theodore both there 36. So both of those drivers next to Chad Bresnall right now are competing for a spot here.
Yeah, and we just again, you know, one of these guys wins this race. It's down to basically the next 2 races is battling for one more playoff spot at Homestead because again with that lead that Hustad and Burrows have, it's gonna be really tough to dislodge them.
Yeah, it really would. So that almost makes it to where. Can you imagine what if 3 guys got a win and then Hustad got bumped out after winning 7 races? That would be nutty.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, that's the only way that Burrows or I mean Burrows I think is pretty much a lock, but Hustad could still get bumped out if 3 other playoff drivers are able to collect some wins.
Not going to be easy, but 3 very different tracks. I think where are we? Texas next week, and then we're at Phoenix ISM.
Yeah, we got Texas, and then I believe it would be Phoenix.
So
Phoenix.
three very, very different racetracks. The first of which here at Martinsville, only half a mile, slower speeds, more technical track. Next week we go to Texas, which again I think it's like the 3rd fastest track that these guys run on all year. Look at Chad Presnell drifting the car around
sliding
the corner.
all the way through, and so that's going to give Theodore a nice gap now.
Definitely a cushion of space there between Theodore and Presnell now, but it's Mike Springer's job to get the pass here. A mistake like that out of the 55, he definitely should have capitalized.
They are driving so on edge because you can just see those cars wiggling, braking and taking off, just wiggling back and forth, giving it all they got.
So the gap grew to about 4.5 seconds between Wade Hustad and Caden Honeycutt, and now Wade Hustad seems to be maintaining the gap at a very similar spot. So
yeah, it was just 4.9, and now it's down to 4.8.5. So he is gaining a little bit.
Caden Honeycutt maybe using up the tires early and hard. And can't drive the car quite as hard now, but he's still getting it around there. He just has to keep it clean at this point.
And we have 5 cars now, a lap down, or lap or more down. Wright just getting past. Chris James, Matthew George, and Dave Wellborn also lap down.
Yeah, everything's going to be jumbled up here in about another 20 laps, as Caden Honeycutt's going to have moved past quite a bit of the field. There's Dustin Musel just in front of him now. Alec Martinez is about 13 seconds back, so in 13 seconds, he's only about 6 seconds away from lapping him.
I know we had a race this season where the leader basically lapped everyone. I think was unable to get the 2nd place guy.
I think that was.
That was.
I'm pretty sure that was Ryan Hesgard in the B cars. I think.
Was that Grand National? That might have been Grand National. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if he had like a lap or 2 more, he would have been able to lap the entire field.
Actually, no, I think he did it, and then I think it was the same exact racetrack. We had somebody almost do it. You're right, he passed everybody but one. I think Hesgard actually lapped the entire field. But
I can't remember where that was, though.
It might have been Caden Honeycutt, if I remember correctly, but I don't know. Definitely, it was another smaller track, just like this. It's the only ones you're really going to be able to get all the way around and lap that many people, but see that gap now has grown to 5.4 seconds almost on Wade Hustad. So Honeycutt, after we spoke about it, he's still making up time. As Hustad is trying to get around some of these lap cars now, and that might have had something to do with that time differential as well. Honeycutt's running out there a little cleaner now, as Wade Hustad is trying to come around some of these other cars on the track. So,
oh yeah, whenever you have to be around another car, you have to worry about their braking point, worry about where if they're gonna give you the room to get by.
Yeah, you're definitely not running the optimal line. Eli Hinton still runs in the 3rd spot in that number 23 car, so he's not a driver we've seen a whole lot of, running up near the front, doing very well tonight.
Yeah, not a lot of movement in this, what is it now, the top 7, but Mike Springer did get past Chad Presnall, so he's gained 2 positions from where he started, starting 10th, and he's now in 8th. Presnall finally losing a spot. He started 8th and is back in 9th. And that was basically all that that slide through that turn that we saw.
Yeah, I mean, not only did that hurt Presnall, you know, time-wise, but definitely ate up the tires a little bit as well. We're now 46 in out of 250 laps, so not sure how far of a run these guys are going to get off their tires. I imagine we'll see something like a, what, a two, maybe 3 pit stop night? Maybe run this out to lap 70 or so before they come in?
Yeah, I think you could do that.
I know they have the fuel for it. Question is, how old do they want to let these tires get before they come down in pit? We see times right now about, they're about a second off of the pace from where they were running at the beginning of this race. So last time by, Wade Hustad actually posting a quicker time than our leader.
Yeah, he stays down pretty far coming out of the turn. Then once he gets on the straight, then he comes up.
Who's that, Husted?
Yeah, a little bit later coming out.
He's staying right down on that yellow line. Well, I don't think there's going to be much going on here for a little bit, Martin. You see the 37 of Honeycutt is now going to move to the inside of David Wellborn in the 96 for the second time, putting Wellborn 2 laps back. Actually, that puts Wellborn 3 laps down. So David Wellborn having a tough time making it around this track tonight. Matthew George has been lapped. Chris James, David Wright, and Dustin Musial have all been lapped by the 37 of Honeycutt already. And the next person he'll set his sights on is Alec Martinez in that 076 car. About 3 seconds in front of Honeycutt. Anthony Burrows still right on the bumper here of the 98 of Hunter Johnson. It's Johnson, Burrows, and then Thomas Harmon in the 68 just behind them. One of the only places on the track where 2 drivers that are competing for position are actually real close to one another. So. We look at point standings implications right now. We've got, again, Burrows and Hustad kind of out there in the front. Hustad runs second right now. Anthony Burrows runs 5th. Then we see Hunter Johnson, who's currently running in the 4th position. He sits 4th in points. And as of right now, he's running 5 spots ahead of Chad Presnell in the 55. So Hunter Johnson going to make up some points there. Thomas Harmon, who is 3 points behind because he only has 1 win to Hunter Johnson's 2, runs 2 spots back of him.
Oh, it's getting really tight back there. Mark Johnson, Hunter Johnson gets into the rear of George, Matthew George. That's going to allow Anthony Burrows to get by. George gives Hunter Johnson a tap. It was a lot of congestion there. David Wright was slow. Matthew George kind of got into David Wright, and then he had to check up, and Hunter Johnson got into the rear of Matthew George. So there we had some movement. Anthony Burrows slips into 4th place where he started. Hunter Johnson falls back. Yeah, that had all the signs of being worse than it turned out being.
Yeah, definitely a close one, that's for sure, but it did give Anthony Burrows the position as he tries to move to the inside of the 44 of David Wright. And he is looking to close the door on Eli Hinton as he starts to catch Hinton from behind. So Eli Hinton been comfortably running in the 3rd spot for most of the evening.
I'm watching Hunter Johnson, the battle between Hunter Johnson and Thomas Harmon. Harmon now slides towards the inside wall. He stopped on the track. There's a yellow flag. So just as I was talking about the little battle they were having, Harmon got right up onto the bumper of Hunter Johnson, comes out of the corner and just gets loose. Doesn't hit the inside wall. He's able to lock it down. So we're going to get fresh tires here. Yellow flag.
So just what I talked about at the beginning of the race, almost no way to keep the car out of the wall, and Thomas Harmon does it. Doesn't touch the wall whatsoever there, just gets the car a little loose. Didn't cause any further damage, and able to stay out of the other cars on the track as well. So great work on his part. As these drivers come down pit road. Caden Honeycutt in that very first pit stall there. Just behind him is Wade Hustad. Like both electing to get 4 tires here. Caden Honeycutt's away. And then Wade Hustad. So Caden Honeycutt with a 13.25. Very quick pit time for him. Mike Springer with a 13.78. Oh, and Mike Springer and Chad Presnall raced to the pit exit. I don't know who they're going to award that to. I think Chad Presnall is going to get the 9th position away from Mike Springer there. So. Oh, that was close. Looks like we might have Joshua Wakefield come back onto the track now. Or maybe it just reset his pit time, I'm not sure. David Wellborn with a 26.01. Obviously had some damage he needed to get repaired. Hunter Johnson with a 30.83 in his pit stall. So he had some damage to get fixed up. Alec Martinez. So quite a few drivers had to get some repairs there just on the little bumping and scraping that they've been doing so far tonight. The running order right now, you have Caden Honeycutt in first. Wade Hustad second. Eli Hinton in third. Anthony Burrows sits fourth. And John Theodore rounds out the top 5. Then you have Chad Presnall just beating Mike Springer off pit road. He runs in the 6th spot. And 7th is Mike Springer.
Yeah, warning just went out to drivers, especially Hunter Johnson. Hunter Johnson went down pit road. He was on the inside lane driving, and there was actually contact between him and David Wright. Wright was trying to get into his pits, and Hunter Johnson was on his left-hand door driving on the inside left lane. So warning out to all the drivers.
And we're going to take the green flag. Caden Honeycutt getting away from everybody. Does not want to be involved with any of the shenanigans back there. Everybody checks up hard on the outside line. And that's going to back them all up. Wade Hustad, Anthony Burrows, and Chad Presnall all being pushed back there as Presnall's now going to dip in behind the 89 of John Theodore. Try to take a cleaner groove around that corner. And Wade Hustad side by side with Eli Hinton.
Yeah, talking about Hunter Johnson, he's all the way back in 10th now after that incident on pit road.
Yeah, 30 seconds of repairs, gets kicked all the way back to 10th, and now he's got to fight through this field for a second time, as he had already done it earlier in the evening. And Wade Hustad really wants this spot. Eli Hinton not looking to give it up anytime soon, as he still holds that bottom line. Tight racing by these guys up front. There in the 62, Anthony Burrows is just waiting in the wings as Wade Hustad finally makes the pass on the 23 of Hinton. Oh, but the 23 gets into the back of him. Anthony Burrows almost getting into the back of the 23. I don't know how Wade Hustad was able to save that, but Eli Hinton putting the bumper to the 32 of Wade Hustad.
He straightened that out immediately. That actually allows Presnall to get past John Theodore because everyone else behind him kind of checked up and taking it easy. So Theodore is going to have to slide in front of Mike Springer. And now Presnall is right here in this pack of 4 cars. Mike Springer making a move on the inside on John Theodore, battling for that 6th position.
And Thomas Harmon waiting just behind them to maybe capitalize on a mistake. So,
yeah, and they got really close there. Almost got into the door. Mike Springer almost got into Theodore's door.
There's nowhere really for the 68 to go when 2 drivers are driving side by side like that. He just has to be patient, ride behind the number 12, and hope that one of them makes a mistake in front of him.
And now he gets right side by side with Theodore just as Springer is able to make the pass.
So John Theodore gets getting stuck on that outside line, shuffled back many positions.
Yeah, and Harmon got into him there, a little bit of a door bump.
He finally gets down to that bottom line. We'll see as the 98 approaches if Hunter's going to be able to make that pass. Just got to get down underneath the driver in front of you, force him into that outer line, and make your move from there. So. Back up to the front, Wade Hustad, Eli Hinton, Anthony Burrows, and Chad Bresnaugh all still racing very close to one another. Caden Honeycutt, again, 2.5 seconds in front of second place. So Honeycutt definitely the class of the field tonight. These other drivers have a lot to fight for. So Chad Bresnaugh, who was stuck behind a couple of these guys that are also competing here. After that pit sequence, he is now in front of every one of them. So two guys that are running in front of him that currently run for points are people he's not so concerned about, as Wade Hustad and Anthony Burrows kind of have the next round almost locked up at this point. He will want to keep that 98 and that 68 behind him. The closest person to him now is Mike Springer in the number 12 car. And just behind him is the 68 of Thomas Harmon, and then John Theodore in the 89. So all of these guys running for points, Martin, all so close to each other.
Yeah, they are.
We are going to go down to the track and listen to the sounds of iRacing. Anthony Burrows does make the pass on the 23 of Eli Hinton. Got around him on the outside. Not something we've seen a lot of. And there's Hunter Johnson, got around John Theodore in the 89, so Hunter Johnson wanting those positions back as he gets to the rear end of the 68 of Thomas Harmon. He's now going to go to the inside of Harmon and look to take that position as well. Those two guys getting into it before. See if they're able to stay out of one another, but Hunter Johnson does want that spot as he drops back in the line. David Wellborn on the outside, being passed. 4 laps down in the 15th spot. When the caution flag flies. See if we can locate exactly where that was. Martin, not sure if you know your mic is muted, but... You see that caution?
Actually, it was between Musial went through the turn, came out, and Chris James came down, and so those two got into each other. I believe that's coming out of turn 3 or turn 4.
Musial's hood all dented in.
Yeah, and they both get into the wall. Looks like Chris James got on, hit the wall head on, so he's gonna have a significant amount of damage.
See if we're able to capture exactly when that happened here. Chris James real high through the corner. Dustin Musial gets in just below him, and that turns Chris James across the nose of the 22. And Dustin Musial, who currently sits last in these remaining playoff drivers, that is not good for his race. Not good for these point standings, as Musial now sits 12th. See him there in his pit box. Gonna get the necessary repairs and try to get back out on the track, but not what the 22 was hoping for, I'm sure.
Chris James, a very short pit stop despite all that front end damage. Must just be a lot of optional repairs, and
wants to maintain his track position.
Yeah, he's just going to try to run that car probably until it gives out on him, because I think after hitting the wall like that, he's going to have some engine issues. And if it doesn't stop him from running now, it's going to stop him from running in 100 laps.
So we got Caden Honeycutt still sits in first, Wade Hustad second, Anthony Burrows in the 3rd spot. Eli Hinton comes out of the pits in 4th, Chad Presnall 5th, and Hunter Johnson in the 6th position. So,
yeah, what I was saying, that group of cars, Presnall, Johnson, Harmon, Springer, and Theodore, they were all over each other during when you were listening to the sounds of the track. They were all over each other's bumpers. Chad Presnall had, I think, a slip up there, and that got them all on top of each other. And I think by the time you got back to looking at them, they had kind of thinned out again.
I was busy watching Burrows try to get around that 23 car. Was able to finally do it and comes out in front of him.
But it was
the pits too.
It was wild back there. They were all over each other and pushing and banging. So
this car's tightened up. Wade Hustad has a nose on the 37, but Caden Honeycutt punches it, and he is out to an easy lead again.
Yeah, surprisingly, we haven't seen any accidents and yellows come out between people battling for position, actually.
Yeah, minor slip-ups here and there is what's bringing out the caution flags. And there's some tight racing going on at the beginning of these green flag runs. Eli Hinton on the outside of Anthony Burrows. You got Hunter Johnson on the outside of Chad Presnall. The 68 there of Thomas Harmon being as patient as possible. Mike Springer and John Theodore almost getting into it. Mike Springer very close to the wall. John Theodore does get around him.
Oh, and Hunter Johnson tried to squeeze in between Presnell and Thomas Harmon, and no yellow is going to come out. But Hunter Johnson...
He does flip the car around and gets back out there, but... Oh,
there comes the caution.
It's not going to be good.
I think that's going to be him, if I'm not mistaken. Well, let's see. I don't see anyone else, I don't think. So I think that's going to be the 98. That was a really delayed caution. But I think because he was slow to get back to speed and Caden Honeycutt was coming up fast, that's when the yellow finally came out.
So we see Hunter Johnson here running on the outside of Chad Presnell. Does try to dip down and get in behind him, but Thomas Harmon was already filling that hole. So
yeah, that hole was... There was enough room for a second, and then, yeah, Harmon made it about 3/4 of a length.
Looks like Wade Hustad's going to come down and pit again, as well as Chad Presnell, John Theodore. We have a couple guys electing not to pit there, staying out and maintaining their track position on their current tires. So now we'll have to watch as Hustad has some positions to make up, as well as Chad Presnell and John Theodore.
Okay, that actually wasn't the 98 bringing out the yellow. It was actually the 30. Now, they were going around Hunter Johnson, who was on the wall. Mike Springer was slowed up, and he kind of comes up into the 30 as the 30 passes by, going into the next turn. And then the 30 collects Dustin Musial, so that's another bad luck for Dustin Musial.
Yeah, Musial's car, whole front end of it is messed up now.
Yeah, it looks like what happened is Mike Springer had slowed down to kind of get around Hunter Johnson, who was perpendicular at the wall, at a 90-degree angle at the wall. And Musial and George, Musial was able to get past Springer, but then as George got alongside Springer, Springer kind of started coasting back up, thinking he was clear, and just kind of brushed George, and George went sliding into the corner and took out Dustin Musial. So that's what the yellow was for.
Dustin Musial just getting 22.9 seconds of repairs, and he's already off pit road, still one lap down in the 13th spot. So
yeah, Matthew George is going to try to beat the pace car, but I think he's going to come out of a closed pit road here. Yeah, he probably just came out of a closed pit road, because that pace car was definitely past him.
It did let him around. It's not making the other cars come past him, so he must have beaten it by a split second.
It looks like he's got a black flag here. Probably he's slowing down, or at least he has to drop to the end. Yeah, there he goes. He's going to come to a crawl and let the field pass him. Did not beat that pace car out.
No go, no go. Going next time.
And they're going to spin another lap around the track now. Looks like Caden Honeycutt electing to start on the outside line. That's the first we've seen of that from him tonight. He has led every one of these restarts so far, and this time he's going to start on the outside. So he does have the 62 of Anthony Burroughs just inside of him. We'll see how that works for the 37 of Honeycutt, as he's been able to pull away very quickly on each one of the restarts so far tonight.
Yeah, these leaders shaking up a little bit with a few of those guys going in for tires. Honeycutt, Burroughs, and then Hinton and Harmon.
Yeah, Thomas Harmon restarting 4th. Mike Springer restarting in the 5th spot. And Chad Presnell's 6th now. So Wade Hustad, after coming down and pitting again, he did get cycled back into the 7th position.
John Theodore in there, restarting 6th. I believe Presnell would be 8th, yeah? Look at that jump. Honeycutt just gets a major jump.
Yeah, I guess it didn't matter too much where he started, inside or out, as he gets a really quick lead. See Chris James down on the inside of the track here. He's going to come down pit road. And Thomas Harmon into the back of the 23 of Eli Hinton.
quite a bit of an accordion effect there. That backs everyone up.
And Mike Springer
goes in
almost makes
hot.
it 3 wide.
Yeah, it's getting a little wild right there as we're shaking it out. Springer into the wall. And that might cost him another position as Presnell's going to get on the inside. Well, Presnell got in a little hot, had to hit the brakes.
So now Wade Hustad with about 10 lapped fresher tires here, running in the 6th position, just behind the 68 of Thomas Harmon. He's going to want to try to make up a couple of these spots. And these cars aren't going to want to let him past. He does go around Thomas Harmon in the 68, and now he will try to take a position away from John Theodore in the 89. Oh, Wade Hustad very loose. Thomas Harmon as well, so that opens the door for Chad Presnell to possibly get around him. We almost go 3 wide.
Yeah, Chris James a lap down, a couple laps down. Where is he? 4 laps down, and he's kind of creating a roadblock, and Springer trying to get around. He's going to get into Presnell. That should be a yellow flag. And that's not good for Presnell. Yeah, that should be a yellow.
Yeah, no yellow flag flies. Not sure how that was able to occur, but Springer does tap the back of the 55 of Chad Presnell, sends him down into the wall on the inside of that corner. And
yeah, we so far have not had a yellow actually involving one of these lead cars. Actually, you know, the last one wasn't because of Hunter Johnson, but it came out because of avoiding Hunter Johnson. And there another one, no yellow flag, and yeah, that should have been a caution. That's a big trouble for Chad Presnell now. He really needed a caution there.
yeah, fortunately the damage isn't going to slow the car too much here at Martinsville. He didn't get a ton of it. The back left of that car dented up a little bit in the left front from where he touched the wall, but Chad Presnell is
a ton of time.
He's still putting down okay laps. He is still on the lead lap, but Caden Honeycutt will be catching him from behind in no time at all. So he'll be looking to try to be the lucky dog at this point when the next caution does finally fly. We're 121 in out of 250, just short of the halfway point here tonight. Back up to the front, Caden Honeycutt has about a 1.5 second gap on Anthony Burrows, who has about a 1.5 seconds himself on Eli Hinton in the 23 car. So the 10 lap difference in tires hasn't meant a whole lot for Wade Hustad as of yet. But him and John Theodore, who both did come in there, are currently running in 4th and 5th. David Wright in the number 44 car, he currently runs in the 8th spot after all that happened, so he's doing a very good job this evening. And you see Chad Presnell now 17.5 seconds back of the lead. So
yeah, that was killer for Chad Presnell, and so I mean he needed that yellow when he's sitting sideways on the track. Not so much for the damage, but just to get back with the field.
He was able to clear out of there pretty quick and get back out on the track, so no caution actually flies. There's only one car that is a single lap down. That's the 22 of Dustin Musial, still riding around 1 lap down. So great job on his part with the damage that he's got already tonight. To still only be 1 lap down out there. He's currently in the lucky dog position. Looks to be riding comfortably ahead of the 12 of Mike Springer, so Musial still able to wheel that car even with the damage he's received. That's why I say the The minor damage that happened to Chad Presnell there is not going to affect lap times too much. He just lost a lot of time off of where he was. Mike Springer, who got into his rear, car looks almost unscathed, so not affecting Springer in the slightest.
Yeah, that was an issue with the lapped car being around, and we've seen that a few times, and Dustin Musial kind of slides into that turn. But we've seen that a few times with the 82, Chris James being a lap down car and getting around the leaders, and crazy things happening. We saw it at Dover, where Caden Honeycutt, I think it was Caden Honeycutt, basically used him as a pick, and Anthony Burrows drove right through the 82.
It turned him sideways.
Yep. So Chris James getting involved in a lot of things, despite not always being up there with the leaders. He's on the track in the same position or in the same area. It causes some interesting things to happen.
It's only 11 cars left on the lead lap here. We did start tonight with 16. Chad Presnell will likely be put a lap down next. He runs in 11th, about 3 seconds back of Alec Martinez. See there, right behind him, 37 of Caden Honeycutt's coming up quick. Be looking to put him one lap down.
I'm watching the split here. Yeah, okay, Burrows lost a little bit of time to Honeycutt. It's about 2.1 seconds.
Yeah, right at about a 10th slower than Honeycutt was on that last lap. So Mike Springer to the inside of the 44 at David Wright. Looks to take the spot away from him.
Hey, here's our battle on the track. Springer and Wright, side by side. And all it takes is one guy not turning his wheel as far left as the other guy, or turning it more left, and suddenly you're gonna have two cars spinning.
Yeah, you got to watch almost snapping the rear end loose there. It was Mike Springer out of that last corner.
Yeah.
So, and Springer makes the pass cleanly. So, another position for Mike Springer, moves himself back up into 8th. Thomas Harmon running 7th. Hunter Johnson in 6th, just behind John Theodore in the 89.
Wakefield has gotten out of his car, and I didn't realize there was a Wakefield actually did get back out on the track for a few laps.
Yeah, he came back out for a few, and now he's
completely out of the car.
gone. So.
Caution.
And another caution flag flies. So.
Drive there towards the end of that little run we just did.
Yeah, it looks like Wellborn, from what I can see. Yeah, he must have just gotten loose going through a turn.
Well, that'll give Chad Presnell just before getting lapped by the 37 Honeycutt.
That is
that lets Presnell back up to the pack, so much needed.
That's a godsend for him.
By the 55, just prior to being put one lap down, he will be able to come in and get some of those repairs and stay.
Yeah, and he doesn't have to. Yeah, he doesn't have to use a lucky dog either, which would have basically prevented him from coming down pit road for fresh tires and everything. So that is perfect timing for Presnell, who didn't get the yellow flag when probably should have, but he gets to stay on the lead lap and basically reset everything.
We'll see what the pit time is. 16.85 for Chad Presnell, so does not get any repairs, and if so, only a second or two. I think he had to take off at that time to get in front of this pace car. Chad Presnell just barely staying in front of the pace car, and we'll catch up to the tail end of this field. We might see him come back down and get a few more repairs in a lap or so.
Well, it looks like most people aren't coming down.
Thomas Harmon spending some time down pit road. Everybody's already pit.
Oh, did I just miss some pit?
Yeah.
All
Thomas
right.
Harmon now
I was wondering.
25.04. Alec Martinez
Okay.
with a 25.2. Matthew George with a 21.93. So some slow pit stops from those guys getting some repairs.
That explains why Harmon was showing up as first place on my screen. 'Cause he stayed out.
I'm going to go down to the track real quick and see if I can snag an interview with Mike Springer. Mike Springer, you got a copy?
Yeah, how's it going?
Hey, it's Ryan up in the booth, man. A lot of wrecks happening in front of you, maybe one caused by you. How's things going out there?
Yeah, it's Martinsville. I didn't mean to get into Chad. It just the lap car checked up way more than I thought, and it slid the nose, and he was there. So he saved me in a way, but I didn't mean to do that. We're running for points against each other. I don't want to touch him.
Just thought I'd get your thoughts. I think most of the action has happened right in front of you tonight, so
Yeah, it's been eventful. It's been fun.
keep pushing out there, man. Doing pretty good so far.
All right, thanks, man.
That was Mike Springer in the number 12. Currently runs in the 7th position. Just inside of the 44 there, David Wright. Caden Honeycutt once again out to a quick jump. Just behind him, you have Anthony Burrows in the 62 and the 23 of Eli Hinton. Followed by Mark Johnson in the 98 and Wade Hustad in the 32. So Hustad finally back up here, putting himself in a spot to compete. Like Chad Presnall to the inside of John Theodore here, trying to take that spot away. Theodore not wanting to give it up, but so after getting turned by the number 12 car, the 55 of Presnall is right back up behind him, so definitely a much needed caution there for Chad. Once again, these guys all very tight next to each other. Mike Springer, Chad Presnall, John Theodore, and Thomas Harmon. Close to one another in points and close to one another on the track.
Yeah, as it all starts to go single file now.
I'm going to follow along with Chad Presnall. I got to go get a drink, Martin. I'll be back in just a minute. Thank you to all of our viewers for tuning in tonight on DRL TV.
Caution's out, caution's out. Really doing a great job, man. We'll keep working on this thing for you. How you doing inside there? You feeling okay?
A yellow flag coming out. Wade Hustad right in front of our camera. It was trying to go kind of dive bomb that corner. Got underneath Hunter Johnson, turned him around. Again, surprisingly, no yellow coming out right away. Despite that happening right in front of everyone. So I don't know what's going on with that, but Hunter Johnson turned around there, and we've seen quite a few instances of that where it's gotten really close, and that's probably the first time we've actually gotten a yellow for that case. Everyone's coming down pit road again. John Theodore winning the race off of pit road, just edges out Anthony Burrows. So John Theodore is going to be our leader.
Uh-oh, looks like we had another caution when I was gone.
Yeah, Wade Hustad dove the corner and turned Hunter Johnson, and that yellow flag did not come out again. I actually had to throw it, helping out race control, because iRacing doesn't seem to want to throw yellow flags here at Martinsville, unless it's a single car spin and no one's around them. That was right in front of everyone, again, right in front of Mike Springer and Chad Presnell, where our camera was, and they all had to kind of stop and ease their way around two cars sitting in the middle of the track. So, not sure what iRacing's deal is with throwing cautions at Martinsville.
Yeah, they seem to be throwing cautions for single car stuff.
But in any case, the big shakeup, John Theodore just comes out of pit road. Him and Anthony Burrows were neck and neck coming out of pit road. John Theodore will be be the control car on the restart. For the first time tonight, someone other than Honeycutt. Doesn't get the greatest jump, though.
Caden Honeycutt needs to be very patient, as he's going to send it in 3 wide. Caden Honeycutt driving a little reckless.
Wow, Wade Hustad to the inside. Way through there too.
So John Theodore was not long for that position, as Honeycutt is now going to try to push the 62 of Burrows out of his way.
Well, he for sure must have taken either only 2 tires or no tires to beat everyone else off of pit road there. I'd be surprised if he took anything less than 2 tires. That's really asking for it, but...
Well, now we have Burrows running in front of the 37, and it's going to take everything Caden Honeycutt's got to get around the 62 here. Because Honeycutt was and has led every lap of this race up until now, so... See what Anthony Burrows is able to do with some clean air.
I'd also be interested in what Burrows did to be able to get off pit road faster than Honeycutt. Tim and Theodore got out really quick.
So Caden Honeycutt's been able to pull away from people quite easily throughout the night and keep the gap growing. And right now, he's unable to get around the 62 of Anthony Burrows. So it doesn't even seem like he's coming real close to the 62 of Burrows. So maybe Anthony running the car real hard, making sure he stays in front of the 37. Hopefully he doesn't burn the tires up doing so, but...
Hinton gets a little bumper into Honeycutt.
Yeah, he even gets into the back of him. So I don't know what's happened to Caden here. He looks immortal throughout the night, like he was just way, way faster than everybody else. And now that he's stuck behind the 62 of Anthony Burrows...
Well, that's probably it, is that he has to worry about braking and not running into Burrows, and that changes up probably his preferred racing method in line. So pit road... doing the job of getting past Honeycutt. That's how Burrows gets past him. Beats him off pit road. With a little help from John Theodore as well.
John Theodore came close to having his night ended as Honeycutt did.
And another guy. And that's going to be Presnall. Presnall in turn 3. Oh, he actually gets into the rear end of John Theodore, and then Hunter Johnson tries to help straighten him out, well, then gets him right into the wall, into the inside wall.
Another bad break for Chad Presnall in the 55.
Yeah, it's getting a little intense out there now. People are getting a little bit more impatient. Different tire sets.
Now that's a much heavier amount of damage to the 55 of Presnall this time. What happens here? He barely gets into the 89. And then the 98 all over his bumper down the straightaway. He gets into the 89 again, gets sent sideways, and Hunter Johnson plows him twice, so... Man, bad luck for the 55. John Theodore
reminds me of
just a little too hard in that corner.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what race this reminds me of. Maybe it was Phoenix earlier on in the season in the Grand National Series, where it was just a mess. You know, it was one of these tracks where no one seemed to be able to drive, and it was an issue. It was cautious coming out all the time, and it was an issue because you had people on different tires. And so you had older tires, newer tires, and everything. And I know I think I chimed over and suggested, like, maybe everyone should just go down pit road at some point here, and we'll all just get fresh tires and start fresh and be on the same page at least. And
well, that time by Thomas Harmon,
going a little bit.
Short pits.
Yeah.
So Harmon comes out in second. Caden Honeycutt still in third.
Well, who was right in front of Chad Presnall there when he got, started getting in trouble? That was John Theodore on a little bit older tires. I don't know. I think he probably only took 2, if any.
Well, now Thomas Harmon putting himself in a compromised position.
Yes, he is.
If Anthony Burrows is wise, he will elect to take the inside line here to make sure he keeps that 37 behind him. Does not want to give him the nose in the first corner.
Yep. Yeah, you sometimes gotta wonder what the plan is, trying to gain positions at this point in the race. We're only at lap 173. Now, Thomas Harmon taking tires, going with his pit strategy on lap 245, maybe, right?
Yeah, on 173 out of 250, no need for him to make up those spots now, as he does blink
the
out there
Theodore
for a second. But
and Burrows is going to take the outside, so that's... Now, I guess what he's hoping is, he's hoping that Harmon pulls up Honeycutt.
We saw in that last restart, though, Honeycutt not looking to be held up by anybody, as he did take it 3 wide into the very first corner. So
we saw Wade Husted also dive way down. He almost went down pit road going around John Theodore and that whole pile up. So here we come. It's going to be interesting again. Burrows gets a great jump, and there goes Honeycutt. Husted slips the tires, doesn't get a good jump at all, and Harmon gets turned.
Honeycutt already turning somebody.
That's going to shake things up. There goes Honeycutt. And that works for Honeycutt, not so much for Burrows.
Burrows seemed to spin the car on his own out in front of all that happening, but that did shove Thomas Harmon down to the inside of Burrows.
Oh, and the 89 gets into David Wright.
And Mike, we have Mike Springer sliding through the corner. So
yeah, we got all kinds of cars all over the place.
These guys racing extremely hard with almost 80 laps to go still here tonight. So
yeah, John Theodore. Let's go back to that one. I'm going to go back. John Theodore got into the corner. David Wright came down in front of him, and Theodore turns David Wright. That's the first thing that happened. And then the next turn, we see Mike Springer get a little sideways. Yeah, David Wright is calling out John Theodore for dive bombing there. I'm going to go back and look at that again. Let's look at it. Yeah, it kind of could be. You could consider that kind of a dive bomb.
Well, I know one guy who is racing very hard tonight, and that's the 37 of Caden Honeycutt. He wasn't letting anybody get in his way those last two restarts. Now does have his first position back, but I don't think there's any need for the reckless driving like that with this many laps still to go.
As I said, I think it's just there's all these different tires now. People are just they're really hot, ready to go, and well, actually, we saw Anthony Burrows get into trouble there. That was because Harmon hit him.
Yeah.
Honeycutt bumped him, then Harmon goes flying, gets a nice push there, and that's what allowed. It was just that was a mess. So we're sort of in that section. That's kind of what I was mentioning. It's one of these other difficult tracks where tires become an issue. Was that maybe everyone should just come down, get 4 freshies, and just take a breath here, so we can get back on track. Because that first run was pretty good. We've had a few decent runs, and now it's been 3 or 4 cautions right in a row.
Yeah, I think that's just a typical race at Martinsville is what it comes down to.
Well, like I said, the last few have been last 2 cautions. It seems to be caused by or started by the issue of having a guy out there doing a little bit of funky pit strategy. And no one's going to listen to me and do it, but maybe these guys all just go down and get 4 fresh tires and go racing for another 100 laps.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, Martin.
Nope, they're gonna battle, and they're gonna try to get any advantage they can get. Thomas Harmon's just asking, does anyone have 0x left? 0 incidents. The only one that I can see, Alec Martinez. And Joshua Wakefield, who didn't race that much and is out of the race. So Alec Martinez somehow keeping that 076 car clean.
So far, Martin. There's still a lot of racing left.
So far. Still about 70 laps. And as we take off, Hunter Johnson gets a little squirrely there. And they go into the first corner. Wow, Wade Hustad trying to shoot that gap between Springer and Hunter Johnson. Yeah, Wade Hustad, I've been seeing him. He's been getting really aggressive on these restarts. Anytime he sees daylight, he just tries to shoot through it.
We
Wade
do
Hustad.
a lot of damaged cars out here tonight, Martin.
That's going to contribute to it too. You're going to have some guys a little bit slower. Wade Hustad, though, working his way up into 4th, and he's got his eye now on Anthony Burrows. Burrows catching the short end of the stick on that last restart as Harmon got shoved into him. Caden Honeycutt back into the driver's seat and pulling away. So we were talking about, it's like, why, you know, Honeycutt a little bit slow when he's behind a guy like Burrows. And that's probably because he has to think about braking and has to go off of what Burrows is doing more so than just driving his own speed. So I don't think you've mentioned it yet. Our next broadcast is probably going to be the Rockingham race for the Pro Series.
Yeah, actually,
tomorrow's race at Martinsville for the trucks is going to be pushed back a week.
Yeah, the entire truck series is moving a week thanks to maintenance on iRacing. So those of you who are going to tune in tomorrow night for that truck race, that is actually going to be postponed until next Wednesday night at the same time.
And we were tossing around ideas. I mean, I know you were tossing around the idea of maybe next week we do a doubleheader, Martinsville and Texas in the trucks. And after watching this race, I think it's just a good idea to push it back because I think people would be a little hot after Martinsville, and Texas is not the best place to go when you have to. Texas is still a technical track coming out of the turn 2 there. So I mean,
but there isn't nearly the bumping and smashing like there is here at Martinsville. So.
But it's that wall, that turn 2 wall, is where everyone's going to be coming out and slapping that thing and taking people out, and I don't think the tempers would be able to handle that.
Get everybody all worked up at Martinsville and then head over to Texas and drive 200 miles an hour. Let's do that.
Yeah, and try to stay off that coming out of those turns. Don't hit the wall.
Yeah, I guess admin's hands are kind of tied as far as that's concerned. There's a 6-hour maintenance for the iRacing service, so it just so happens that the truck race is in the heart of that, and I'm not sure why they're not doing their maintenance in the middle of the night like most gaming companies that are paid hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars
or the middle of the day when everyone's at work.
Yeah, but it is what it is. We got to work around it. We have pushed the truck series off a week, so.
Yeah, Anthony Burrows and Eli Hinton side by side battling for second.
Yeah, they're going at it.
And Hinton really turning that car down, making it very difficult for Burrows.
Yeah, he's doing okay there on the outside and doesn't give away the position. So Anthony Burrows unable to make the pass.
They both go a little high, and there goes Hustad. Yeah, Hustad sees that daylight. He's going to stick his nose in there.
Well, that just goes to show why Honeycutt couldn't get around the 62 of Burrows earlier. It doesn't really matter how much quicker you are than the guy in front of you here. I mean, you got to do something drastic, or they have to make a mistake for you to get the pass.
Well, Hinton is staying high, and unfortunately now for Burrows, he keeps getting stuck high too. And Hinton really hits the brakes on that high side.
Hinton dropping a little lower on the exit of the corner, and that's not giving Wade Hustad any room to get back in the gas and get around him.
Yeah, it's really holding up Hustad, especially. So now it's Hustad and Burrows side by side. And not just side by side, but also worrying about the bumper of the 23 ahead of them.
Great racing here by Wade and Anthony Burrows riding behind Eli Hinton. Oh, and Anthony Burrows gets a little bit loose on the exit, so it's like Hustad able to grab the position.
And I think a lot of the issues with NASCAR, people want to see that side-by-side racing, and you get it at Martinsville. You definitely do.
Yeah, tracks like this, not fun to drive, but they're absolutely a blast to watch. You know, Martinsville, Bristol, Richmond. All of those tracks very fun to watch.
Oh yeah, those are. I mean, I'm not always competitive at those tracks, but those are those are a little bit more fun sometimes. Those sometimes are more fun to drive are these short tracks because you actually have to drive.
Yeah,
While those
really got
sometimes
drive.
the mile and a half, the mile and a half is like you got to hit the right line. And if you're not hitting the right line, here you got to worry about not hitting the guy in front of you going into the corner. So it's kind of thinned out a little bit with these 4 guys. Hunter Johnson getting his nose in here now. Gets really tight in the corners.
It's just at the exit point when they start stomping on it.
Yeah, and he's going to stick that nose in there at some point here, and he's done that already a few times. I believe who was that he turned? I think he turned Hunter Johnson, getting that nose in there. Sliver of daylight, sticks his nose in there. Hustad being very aggressive today.
That's crazy. Wade Hustad right to the back of the bumper of the 23 in every one of these corners, and as soon as they get onto the straight, that's it.
Yeah, and Hinton is playing a dangerous game there, kind of inviting Hustad to stick the nose in there, and then he slams the door shut. And that's a good way to get turned, because one of these times Hustad is going to get far enough in there.
Well, you want to stomp on the gas, right? But you're a little bit hesitant because the guy in front of you hasn't stomped on it yet, and that just causes the accordion on the way out. You're not going to be able to get close to the guy, and if you do, you're probably going to end up hitting him. All 4 of these drivers, one right on top of the other. The drivers in first and second place not running in these playoffs for points, so this will be the first time in one of these playoff races that we have a non-points driver actually take a win.
Yeah, if everything holds the way it is, and Caden Honeycutt almost 5.5 seconds lead over Hinton.
Yeah, Honeycutt leading a majority of these laps tonight.
Oh, there you go. You can see Hustad almost got the nose under there, and it was really close. So, you know, you leave that open enough for Hustad. He's going to stick it in there, and then you're going to come down and get turned. Can't really accuse Hustad of dive bombing because he's just running the same line.
Yeah, that's the last thing Hinton wants to do is stay up the track a little too far, so...
Yeah, so you might have to start getting in that corner and get lower sooner. Burrows goes up a little higher, inviting Hunter Johnson. Oh, and Burrows actually going to turn the tables on Hustad.
Trying to get the
on the inside.
So we're going to go back in the pack just a little bit and see if there's anything else going on as far as battles go. Once again, Mike Springer, John Theodore, Chad Presnell all racing right around one another. Thomas Harmon does follow them, but there's a distance between them. Alec Martinez, the one clean car still on the track there, and that Skittles car. He runs in the 10th spot.
It just looks like a lot of Honeycutt working his way around lapped cars. but doesn't seem to be slowing him down too much as the lead is at 5.487 seconds. Lost a few hundredths of a second that last time around, working around those lap cars.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to matter too much, Martin.
Not enough to be significant, to do any, make him worry too much. Considering these cars will also have to make their way around those guys as they get close. Hustad right onto the bumper.
Yeah, he has a really, really strong entrance into this corner, and I mean, you could just tell that if he was around the 23, he would be able to put himself away from the 23. He just can't get the nose of the car in there, so Hustad just needs to, I mean, one of these laps, we are 221 in out of 250 here.
Oh, there he goes. He's got it under.
He's just got to send it.
Hinton can't get down that time.
And Hinton electing to stay in that higher line now, maybe trying to let Hustad around, but if Hustad goes around, everyone else is following.
I mean, that was what I was talking about. It's like he gets the nose just, you know, an inch or two in there. Now Hinton can't come down without getting spun.
I think even if he gets to the inside of him, Hustad can't get the exit speed that he wants with the line that he's running, and the car pushes to that outside wall on exit. If Hinton's there, Hustad's going to have to let out of the gas. Oh, and Anthony Burroughs gets loose. Mistakes like that can allow Hunter Johnson to get around him, so...
Yeah, there was actually a little bit back, a couple laps there. David Wright and Honeycutt getting into it as Honeycutt was trying to get by, and David Wright gave him a few door slams. So... I didn't see anything there with on Caden Honeycutt's end. More just David Wright not being happy that he was getting lapped. Accusing Honeycutt of driving him off the track. It looked like Honeycutt was just running his line. Staying on that low side.
Well, 25 laps to go.
Actually battling for 6th is Chad Presnall and John Theodore. It looks like Theodore has now locked it down for the moment. Yeah, we have a similar pack of cars, so we have that 2nd through 5th, and then 6th through 9th. Similar looking pack, all right on top of each other going into the corners, on each other's bumpers. It's John Theodore, Chad Presnall, Mike Springer, and Thomas Harmon in that 2nd pack of cars. Chad Presnall in basically the same position his teammate Wade Hustad's in, trying to get that nose under the 89.
I mean, I expect with 22 to go, at what point do you just put the bumper to the guy?
Well, there goes Thomas Harmon side by side with Mike Springer. So they see that this race is getting short. They're starting to battle a little bit harder. All these guys in the top 9 are playoff drivers except for our top 2 drivers, Honeycutt and Hinton.
And you got to keep in mind too, they're battling each other harder, and the tires are getting older. So it's actually the worst time to be battling, as they now have 60 laps on their tires. At least most of the drivers out there do.
Yeah, you're hoping
top 9.
You're hoping you're better at driving on those old tires than the guy in front of you or behind you.
See the 55 of Chad Presnall gets loose there, has Thomas Harmon on the inside. Harmon blinks out, so Harmon having some connection issues. It's not going to make things easy. Racing around some of these other guys.
Yeah, and Hinton and Hustad now coming up on some lapped cars. Dustin Muse is going to be the first one they're going to have to work around. So now it's going to get really interesting.
Chad Presnall again slides the car around the corner, so Presnall losing a spot to Harmon. Presnall's having a real tough time wheeling that car right now. Things are going to get dicey here with these guys approaching. Dustin Musial, Chris James, and Matthew George.
Yeah, Wade Husted, that last corner, it looked like he scraped across the back of Eli Hinton's bumper as Hinton came down. That's how close they were as he just burst past David Wellborn.
Well, unless
They get
everybody's
past
just
Muse,
really
though.
nice to each other, this could be a chance for both Wade Husted or Anthony Burrows to make a move.
Well, it depends on where Chris James goes. It looks like Chris James is going to affect things again.
Does move up to that high side and gets out of everybody's way, but again, it's going to mess up exiting speed for all of these cars around him.
Ooh, and Anthony Burrows gets picked off.
Yeah, that's going to let Hunter Johnson get the
use
pass
him
on Burrows.
This looks a lot like Dover. I believe that was Caden Honeycutt, though, that Burrows was battling at Dover. Whoa, Hunter Johnson gets loose. He gets into the rear end of Anthony Burrows as he straightens out. So those guys lose a little bit of time on Husted. Now I'm going to be curious what David Wright does here, because David Wright's he's a proud driver. Doesn't like to be passed. We already saw what he did with Caden Honeycutt, so we'll see how he handles Hinton and Husted.
Yeah, David Wright, the very first car, a lap down right now in that number 44.
Yeah, Matthew George kind of slowing up Anthony Burrows as Burrows is trying to get around him. Stayed down on the low line in the turn. So these lap cars are going to have something to say about this finish.
Wade Husted real close to Eli Hinton there. As they approach David Wright. Ooh, Hinton a little bit loose off the corner.
Yeah, is David Wright going to get out of the way here this next turn, or is he going to... It looks like he's just going to keep running his line. Just ignoring the fact that there's a whole line of cars behind him.
Yeah, I don't
get past.
I don't think he's moving, Mark.
So this might be a... Well, Hinton's going to get under there.
It. Does get to the inside of the 44. And now they're all going to try to run around him on the inside.
Yeah, Burrows has to be careful to not coast up too high and get stuck behind that lap car, because that's what happened to him just a few moments ago.
Oh, Wade Husted slides it
has
through
to
the
lock
corner.
up those brakes. Yeah. You saw Hinton's bumper coming up fast. So that's going to give Burrows a shot at the inside here.
I expect Wade Husted should be able to hold off the 62.
Oh, he actually is going to fly all the way out, and he might lose another position to Hunter. He's going to be battling holding off Hunter Johnson now.
Yeah, he hasn't been running that outer line very much, and he was kind of forced up into it there, so. Now it's Anthony Burrows chasing Eli Hinton.
Going back a little bit, John Theodore running in 6th. He's got a nice gap over Harmon. Working his way around Chris James. Had to go on the outside. They almost ran into each other. Looks like Chris James is going to make these guys go around him on the outside.
Yeah, now it's Harmon's turn to make the pass.
A little bit of a gap. Mike Springer, gap between him and Mike Springer a little bit bigger. So Springer and Presnall near each other. Looks like John Theodore has secured himself a 6th place finish. He can hang on to where he's at.
There's 5 laps to go here at Martinsville. Anthony Burrows into the wall, turns Wade Husted. And somehow Husted pulls it after doing, I think, a 1080. Gets going back straight. Now that's going to be the end of the race, Martin.
Yeah,
So
that was
Burrows
Burrows hit
and
the wall. Yeah, Burrows got really high through that turn.
He stops the car, lets Wade Hustad do a 720 in front of him.
So where's that going to finish? That actually, I think that's going to drop Burrows back to 7th. That's going to be his first not top 5. John Theodore's going to, I think, get by him and finish 5th place.
See, Burrows just bounces off the wall just a bit there. That sends Hustad around a couple times. Wow. What a time for that to happen. So that will give Caden Honeycutt the victory.
Yeah, and that was Burrows. That was Burrows getting into the wall. That wasn't anyone hurting him. And that drops him back to 7th place. That's gonna be his first finish of the season, not in the top 5.
First non-top 5 for Anthony Burrows.
That's crazy. Still another top 10, but first one not in top 5.
Oh man. Well, we're gonna run through unofficial results here as these guys come around. Caden Honeycutt is going to get the win with 225 laps led tonight. Eli Hinton finishing 2nd, so 2 non-playoff drivers coming in 1st and 2nd tonight. Hunter Johnson finishes 3rd. Wade Hustad 4th. John Theodore gets the 5th spot. Thomas Harmon 6th. 7th goes to Anthony Burrows. 8th, Mike Springer. 9th to Chad Presnall. And 10th, Alec Martinez. We got David Wright finishes 11th, 12th, Dustin Musial, 13th, Chris James, 14th, Matthew George, 15th, David Wellborn, and the 16th spot goes to Joshua Wakefield.
I think Caden Honeycutt wants to be interviewed first. So
we'll watch him do his donuts down here in front of some of these other cars. Mark Johnson joining him for a couple donuts. Caden Honeycutt's burning it down. David Wellborn out on the track, kind of getting in everybody's way. There's your top 5 right in front of you on the screen. Go down and grab Caden Honeycutt. Started in 1st, finished in 1st. See how he's feeling about the victory here at Martin. Caden Honeycutt, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey man, you came away with the win. Couple pits there early, almost kept that from happening. Able to get back out in front of the guys and run away with the lead again. How's it feel, man?
It feels kind of okay. I'm really disappointed with the way I did it. When I went 3 wide on Theodore, I tried the best I could. I mean, I know Anthony was going to get that run, so I couldn't let him get away because it's very tough to pass. Obviously, you guys saw that. We made a little contact. I don't think it was too bad. I still felt bad for that. And then Harmon, the deal with Harmon, he texted me after and said, oh, he had a lot of rear brake, and that's why he braked early. That was totally unintentional, too. I wasn't trying to do any of that. That was really just a bad thing on my part. You know, you having the lead that much by the early of the race, you know, just desperate. That's all it was. And I hated I had to do it like that. I was really not trying to do that. But when he told me after his rear brake, I just told him next time, just let me know and I'll be more careful. And he responded back and said, all right, that's no big deal. Overall, I had a fun time. This was a very fun race. I think this is probably one of the best tracks I'm at. So I'm very pleased with the run we had today.
Well, you did a good job able to come away with the victory. First, actually, playoff race so far that we haven't had one of the playoff drivers actually win it. So not only did you get first, but Eli Hinton comes in second, also not in the playoffs for points any longer. So congratulations on that. Are you coming back next week? We're going to see you at Texas, or?
I might. Depends on how my next week. I will try to. That's for dang sure. I've had so much fun. Texas is my home track, and I would really like to win there also. So that would be really good if I get the race next week. But if I don't, I don't. I'm gonna try to make a run at it next year.
All right, man. Well, congratulations again on first. You got a shout out you want to give to anybody before we let you go tonight?
Thanks to Hunter Johnson and PJ for keeping me updated on everything that's going on. I really appreciate them being teammates. Thank you guys for doing a great broadcast for those viewers. They love you guys, and we appreciate you guys doing everything y'all can to support us. Really makes us happy, and just appreciate you guys doing this for us.
Well, thank you, Caden. Have a wonderful night, and hopefully we'll see you again at Texas, man.
All right, man. Thank you.
Yep. That was Caden Honeycutt, our winner for this evening. We're going to go down now and grab Eli Hinton, who started in the third position tonight in that 23 car, comes away with second. Eli Hinton, you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Hey, man, you come away with the second place finish after some crazy shenanigans happened behind you, man. How's it feel?
Well, that was a crazy race. I was running on, like third or fourth most of the time. Somehow got up there to second after that one, like, crash restart type deal. And I don't know how, but I held off one of the top guys in the league, Anthony Burrows, and came away P2.
It was a great drive, and man, it was real difficult for people to pass. We saw Caden Honeycutt putting a gap on everybody all evening, and then the one or two times he got stuck behind another car, he was just unable to get around him. So Burrows was holding him off without issue, and then just minor mistakes and stuff is what did it. And you didn't make a lot of them, that's for sure.
Yeah, Caden was super fast. I don't know what he was doing, but he had like a 6-second gap right there at the end, and he got caught up a lot worse in lap traffic than me. But he had a heck of a drive right there.
Well, congratulations on the second place finish. You going to come back and see us next week in Texas as well?
I might if I have enough time in my schedule, but I'll definitely be back for like full time next season.
Awesome, Eli. Congrats again. You got a shout out you want to give to anyone tonight?
Teammate Alec Martinez. That's it.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
Thank you so much.
That was Eli Hinton, our second place finisher tonight. Now we'll go see Hunter Johnson in the 98. Started in the 7th spot. This is 2 weeks in a row. He started further back in the field and raced his way up. He actually had to race his way through the field twice tonight and comes away with the 3rd place. Hunter Johnson, you got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Hey, great finish last week. You come away with the 3rd place this week. Had to fight through the field a couple times here tonight, man. How's it feel?
Feels really good to actually get a 3rd. I was just intent with the top 5. I was hoping to get better, try to move up more spots, so it's less points I have to worry about going into these next couple of races. But going into the next couple, I feel pretty confident. Just got to keep finishing really good like I've been doing, and hopefully I can make Final 4.
Yeah, it made things a little bit easier on yourself after Hustad and Burrows getting into it there. So you'll gain a couple points on a few guys, and hopefully you can come out at Texas and do some more of the same.
Most definitely. That wreck with them two really shocked me. I don't know what happened there. Have to see what happened, but it was really that little pack we had. Those 4 cars was from 2nd or 5th was really good. The truck's just so hard to pass. You really had to kind of either nudge someone or get to the outside, which hard to get to the outside when you're behind them. But this race was really good. Congrats to Caden for getting this win for the team. I'm very happy about that.
Awesome, man. You got a shot? You want to get to anyone else before I let you go?
Yeah, SWA team. They've been really fast. hopefully me and Caden can show up next week and dominate some more. PJ O'Leary, he came in here giving us some little spotter tips and everything, trying to help us out. Thank y'all in the booth for doing such a good job week in, week out. Y'all do a fantastic job. Thanks everybody for watching the broadcast. Hope y'all enjoyed. Short track racing must have been fun to watch.
Oh, it was, man. We'll see you next week at Texas.
Yep, see you guys.
And that was Hunter Johnson, our third place finisher for this evening. You're going to go, well, I'm supposed to go grab Wade Hustad here. He comes away with the fourth place finish. I think Wade Hustad is actually having some technical issues, so he will not be able to have an interview with us tonight, but congratulations to him. Sucks he kind of got caught up there towards the end with Burrows, but was able to spin the car around after doing a couple donuts and still grab that fourth place finish. And then John Theodore also making up some points here in the 89. Let's go grab him and get a quick chat. John Theodore, you got a copy?
Yeah, 10-4. How you doing? You got a copy on me?
Yes, sir. Fifth place tonight. You started in sixth. A lot of stuff happened this evening. How do you feel coming away with the fifth place finish there?
Very good. Martinsville is, I think, where I got my first DRL Cup Series top 5, and followed it up with one in the fall race. So very happy with that. Got to definitely give a lot of credit to Gerald Campbell and Gabriel Wood, who were helping me out. Gerald in the spotter stand, Gabriel Wood on top of the pit box. Those guys, I raced with them in another league this year, and they did a great job of keeping my head cool through a lot of that short track emotions and stuff like that. Helped coaching me on my line, and definitely would not have gotten a top 5 without their help.
It was definitely an interesting one. A lot of changes in position, a lot of bumping, rubbing. You spoke to, this was your first top 5 in the DRL. The guy who finished 2 spots behind you, this was his first non-top 5 of the year. How do you feel about that?
Anthony has just been killing it. I feel bad for him because he had it in the bag, and I haven't looked at the replay yet because I've been sitting in my car to keep it on the front straight for you guys. I haven't seen the replay yet. I don't know what happened, but I felt good that I was going to be able to, making sure that I was going to get past him and get that top 5, but I felt awful for him because he ran a great race and was, definitely deserved to get another top 5 tonight. So, I mean, Burrows, what can I say, man? That I think that I've heard from you guys on previous broadcasts that he's 15 years old, if I'm correct on that. If that guy, from what I've seen, him, a couple of the other young guys that we got in here, Caden, Eli, if any of the NASCAR teams are listening, we got some serious young talent in this league that definitely deserves a shot in some real equipment. I know Caden runs some ARCA races, but Anthony definitely has the ability. I've been very impressed watching him run away from me all season this year.
Yeah, he's been pretty good at that, and he made a mistake himself. He bounced off the wall a little bit, and when he came off of it, Wade was just there, and he hooked his bumper, and that was it. So he did the right thing, stopped on the track, let Wade finish spinning in front of him, and he lost a couple positions because of it. He could have kept driving through Wade there. So.
Yeah, 10-4. And I got to say that too. Like, I've been watching Anthony run all season. He's fast, and he definitely races extremely clean and does things the right way. So I've been really impressed with him on all counts. Lot more maturity, mature beyond his years for sure.
Well, back to you. Wade Hustad and Anthony Burrows kind of have a lock on the first and second position. You are fighting to make it into this final 4 with Hunter Johnson finishing ahead of you. I think you're going to end up 4th or 5th after this.
Looks like 6th right now.
Oh, because Chad Presnell is still up there as well. A couple
Presnell
other guys
just 1 point ahead of him. Yeah.
Yeah, got some extra wins in the regular season. How do you feel about Texas? You think you can go in and get a couple points made up on these guys, or?
I'll tell you what I'm going to be doing for Texas is I'm going to be practicing my butt off for the rest of the week, including, and I want to point this out. You guys know that I do the stream on Twitch. Yep. I am participating. This Saturday is Extra Life game day. So if you guys are unaware what that is, a lot of Twitch streamers participate in it. It's a 24-hour day of streaming. It's my first year doing it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it the full 24 hours. I am an old man. I am one of the old men in this league, so we'll see. But I can guarantee you that as a part of that 24-hour stream, which is raising money for Miracle Network Children's Hospitals, I'm going to be raising money for the for St. Louis Children's Hospital and Cardinal Glennon, which are the local St. Louis Miracle Network Children's Hospitals all day. I'm going to be running so much Texas that day you wouldn't believe. I'm going to run NIS. I'll probably run both NIS races that day. Every A fix that I can get in, I'll have a special paint scheme for it that I'm running. So any of you guys who are watching, tune into my Twitch channel Saturday, twitch.tv/John_A_Theodore. I've got a special command in the chat, and you'll be able to go to my Extra Life page, come in. If you make a donation, that'd be awesome. Helps kids who are, a lot less fortunate than us in life. They drew a bad deck of cards, so anything that we can do to make things a little bit better on them, that's what it's all about.
Awesome.
Yeah,
man.
it sounds like a plan. Sounds like a plan right there.
Use all of that practice and come out and get a win next week at Texas, and then you won't have to worry about these points.
Yeah, that'd be a lot easier, wouldn't it? How cool would that be?
If only you could just get a win every time. That would be the way to do it, for sure.
One of those easier said than done things, but I'm definitely going to try it. I do think that if I continue to do things like I did tonight, I was really wanting to get those 0x bonus points, but I did get up there and lead a couple laps tonight. If I can do that again at Texas and get another top 5 and top 5 at Phoenix, I think that'll be enough. So if I'm not able to get a win and make it through, which I obviously want to do that, if I can at least top 5 my way through this round, I think that will be enough to do it.
Well, we wish you the best of luck, man. You got a shout out you want to give to anybody before we let you go?
Yeah. So again, Gerald and Gabe, thank you guys. Nathan as well, thank you. He's been an awesome spotter helping me get this far. Thanks to Mom and Dad. I know they're watching. And of course, got to give a shout out to Corey Bush, who I've been running on the car this full season. I really, really, really want to get the Corey Bush Camaro ZL1 to Homestead for that Final Four.
Well, hopefully we'll see you there, man. Have a wonderful night.
Cool. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
And that was John Theodore, our 5th place finisher for tonight. So that is going to wrap up driver interviews. We will go down and look at the credits. Thank you very much to James Pandolf and Tater Bowman, the owners of the league, for putting all this stuff together. And, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have a Dynasty Racing League. Martin Wenzel, Jordan Gonzalez for all the graphics. Martin, my buddy in the stream tonight, thank you for all the work that you do for the league. David Wellborn Jr., Taylor Butcher Benjamin, Getty Buckner, Jason Taylor, James Pandolf himself, all the guys that come out and stream here with DRL TV and actually put this thing onto the screen for us. And then all of the race controls that come out and, just sit here for 2 hours on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday nights. Starting up here soon, it'll be on Sunday nights. Earlier in the season when we were running the Indy Series, it was on Thursday nights. So, it's almost a 7-day-a-week thing. All these guys that just show up and do what needs to be done to keep the league moving along. Thank you to everyone. You guys do see there is a couple new logos down there. You might not be able to read them with the text the size that it is, but the Winter Series is coming at you real soon here. So we will have the Pro Series. You see James Pandolf and Eric Weatherholtz there. That is during the wintertime. The Pro Series is going to be run on Sunday nights. James Pandolf will be broadcasting those. So that'll actually be the next broadcast. Next race is going to be the Pro Series. That'll be James on Sunday night. So very first track for that race. That'll be ran in the K&N cars on short tracks only. So should be a lot of racing like you saw tonight, bumping, grinding, etc. Moving people out of the way. Should be a really good time, and it should make the tempers flare and make for a good show for all the viewers. And then there will be a Winter Oval Series and a Winter Road Series. So the Road Series will run in the Skip Barbers, and the Winter Series is going to be, larger ovals, some 1.5 miles, this and that, but they're going to be oval tracks, and those will also be in the K&N cars. So a lot of racing action coming here from Dynasty Racing League throughout the winter, and then into next season, all 3 of these series will be back, and we might have an addition or 2. So stay tuned for all of that. A lot of exciting stuff coming up from the Dynasty Racing League. Anybody who's watching who isn't a part of DRL and would like to be a part or like to help out in any way, just head over to www.dynastyracingleague.com. Get all the details there. You can join us on Discord and be a part of the team. So you guys see the race on Sunday night is going to be at Rockingham. So there'll be 100 laps there in the K&N car. Should be a fun time, that's for sure. Martin, you got anything else for the viewers before we let them go tonight?
Nope. Next week is gonna be the Truck Series, and we'll see you on Sunday with the Pro Series.
All right, guys.
Think we're both running that.
Oh yeah, I'll be there. Should be a good time. Have a great night. Thank you to all of our viewers. Yep. If it wasn't for you, the stream would be pointless. So thank you guys for tuning in and watching, and have a wonderful evening. See you again on Sunday.